Michael bent down, picked up the bra with 2 fingers, and held it at arm's length while 80,000 people screamed. But nobody saw the woman in the front row collapse until he pointed and the music died. It wasn't supposed to go that way. The summer heat in the outdoor arena had been building since doors opened at 4. By the time Michael took the stage at 8:30, the concrete under the crowd's feet radiated warmth like an oven, and the air felt thick enough to chew. Security had distributed water bottles twice already, and the medic station near the left tunnel had treated 6 people for heat exhaustion before the opening act even finished. Michael didn't know any of that yet. He came out to a roar that could have registered on seismic equipment. The lights dropped, the intro track hit, and 23,000 bodies in the pit surged forward as one mass. The barricade flexed but held. Security braced. And Michael, center stage under a single white spotlight, raised one hand and let the moment stretch until the silence hurt. Then the drums kicked. For 40 minutes, everything worked. The choreography landed clean. The vocals rode perfectly over the mix, and the crowd moved like a single organism, jumping, swaying, singing back every word. Michael's in-ear monitor fed him a clean signal. His moves hit their marks, and the crew backstage watched the show with the kind of quiet satisfaction that comes when a plan survives contact with reality. But here's the part you can't miss. No plan survives forever. Michael was halfway through a ballad, walking the edge of the thrust stage with a handheld mic, when something sailed up from the front row and landed 3 feet ahead of him. He saw it mid-step, pink fabric, lace trim, definitely not a hat, and his brain took a second to process what his eyes were reporting. A bra. Someone had thrown a bra onto the stage. Michael stopped walking. The band kept playing, but he just stood there, staring down at the thing like it had arrived from another dimension. His head tilted slightly to the left, his mouth opened, then closed. And then, because MichaelJackson was a professional who'd seen stranger things on tour, he started laughing. Not a polite chuckle, a full, unguarded belly laugh that the wireless mic picked up and sent through every speaker in the venue. 80,000 people heard it and started laughing with him, even the ones too far back to see what was funny. Michael bent down, pinched the bra between his thumb and forefinger, and lifted it high over his head like a referee holding up a championship belt. The crowd lost its mind. He turned in a slow circle, showing it to every section of the arena, his grin so wide it looked like it might split his face in half. "Well," he said into the mic, his voice still shaking with laughter, "this is new." The band had stopped playing. The arena fell into that rare kind of silence where you can hear individual voices, even in a crowd of tens of thousands. Someone in the upper deck yelled, "We love you, Michael," and he pointed in that direction and laughed again. "I love you too," he said. "But I gotta ask," he held the bra up higher, "what am I supposed to do with this?" A wave of laughter rolled through the crowd. Michael looked at the bra, then at the audience, then back at the bra. "I mean, do I keep it? Do I fold it? I don't know the protocol here." He made a show of trying to fold it, fumbling with the straps, turning it upside down, holding it up to the light like he was inspecting produce at a grocery store. The physical comedy was so unexpected, so completely at odds with the smooth, controlled performer everyone knew, that the laughter doubled. Okay, Michael said, catching his breath. "Whoever threw this, and I know you're out there, I just want to say thank you. This is definitely the most creative gift I've ever gotten on stage." He paused. "Also the most confusing." More laughter. But then, something shifted. Michael's smile softened. He lowered the bra and looked out into the crowd, scanning the front rows. "You know what, though? It takes guts to do something like that. So instead of being embarrassed, let's give this person a round of applause for being bold." He started clapping, and the entire arena joined in. The applause built and built until it sounded like thunder. Michael walked to the edge of the stage, still holding the bra. "Mime, or sir, I'm not judging wherever you are. I want you to know I won't forget this. You just became part of concert history." The crowd roared its approval. But, Michael added, his timing perfect, for future reference, maybe a scarf next time, or a flower. I'm running out of places to store underwear, and my security team's starting to worry about me. That line got the biggest laugh yet. Even the crew backstage was cracking up. Michael folded the bra carefully, still using just 2 fingers, and handed it to his security chief, a broad-shouldered man named Coleman, who took it with a completely straight face and tucked it into his jacket pocket, like this was a normal Tuesday. Michael turned back to the mic. All right, where were we? The band started playing again. The crowd settled. Michael moved back to center stage, and for a few seconds it looked like the show would pick up right where it left off. But notice this, Michael's eyes kept drifting to the front row. Something wasn't right. He'd seen crowds his whole life, knew how they moved, how they sounded, how the energy shifted when something went wrong. And right now, near the left side of the barricade, there was a gap. People were leaning away from a spot instead of pressing forward. Hands were waving, voices were shouting, but not the good kind of shouting. Michael stopped singing mid-verse. The band kept going for 2 bars before the musical director caught on and cut them off. The arena went quiet again, but this time the silence felt different, tense, waiting. Michael pointed toward the front row. Hold on a second. He walked to the edge of the thrust, shielding his eyes from the stage lights, trying to see into the pit. Security left side, near the barricade. Someone's down. Coleman was already moving. He spoke into his radio, and within seconds 6 more guards were pushing through the crowd toward the left corner. The audience started murmuring, unsure what was happening. Michael stayed at the edge of the stage, watching, his expression completely focused now. Give them space, he said into the mic, his voice calm but firm. Everyone, step back, let security through. The crowd obeyed. A circle opened up, and from where Michael stood he could finally see a woman, maybe mid-20s, sitting on the ground with her back against the barricade. Her head was tilted forward, hair covering her face. 2 friends crouched beside her, fanning her with their hands. Michael turned to the wings and made a quick gesture. A medic appeared, Red Cross armband, portable kit, and followed Coleman into the pit. Is she okay? Michael called down. Coleman looked up and gave a thumbs up. The woman was conscious, just overheated. The medic was already offering water and checking her pulse. Michael exhaled. Okay, good. He turned back to the crowd. Folks, it's hot out here. Really hot. If you're feeling dizzy, if you need water, if you need to sit down, do it. Don't wait. This show's not worth getting hurt over. He pointed to the medic station. We've got people ready to help. No shame in taking care of yourself. Wait. Here's what happened next. The woman at the barricade looked up. Even from the stage, even through the lights and the haze, Michael could see her face, flushed, embarrassed, trying to wave him off like she was fine. He smiled and pointed directly at her. You, he said. Yeah, you. Don't be embarrassed. Heat exhaustion's no joke. You did the right thing sitting down. The crowd around her started clapping. She covered her face with her hands, but Michael could see her shoulders shaking, laughing or crying, maybe both. And hey, Michael added, his grin returning, at least you didn't throw your bra at me. The arena exploded. The tension shattered. Laughter rippled through 80,000 people, and even the woman at the barricade was laughing now, nodding, giving Michael a thumbs up. Coleman and the medic helped her to her feet. She was steady enough to walk, and they guided her toward the side tunnel where the medic station waited. As she passed below the stage, she looked up at Michael and mouthed 2 words, "Thank you." He winked and tapped his chest twice. The band started playing again. Michael stepped back to center stage, and this time the show really did pick up where it left off. But something had changed. The crowd wasn't just watching a performance anymore, they'd been part of something. A moment. A shared experience that went beyond choreography and pyrotechnics. Remember this, the woman who threw the bra was still in the crowd. Her name was Jessica, 21 years old, visiting from out of state with her college roommate. She'd thrown the bra on a dare, expecting nothing more than a laugh, and maybe a story to tell back at school. What she got was a 5-minute comedy routine, from the king of pop in a front row seat, to the moment he stopped an entire show to make sure someone was safe. After the concert, security found Jessica near the merch table. Coleman handed her the bra, now signed in silver Sharpie. "Thanks for the laugh. Stay bold, EMJ," along with a backstage pass and a Polaroid of Michael holding the bra over his head on stage. "He wanted you to have this," Coleman said, "and he wanted me to tell you you made his night." Jessica kept that bra in a frame on her wall for the next 30 years. She became a nurse, worked in emergency rooms, saved lives, and every time someone asked about the framed bra with the signature, she told the same story, the night she embarrassed herself in front of 80,000 people, and MichaelJackson turned it into the best memory of her life. But here's the part most people don't know. After the show, backstage, Michael sat in his dressing room with a cold towel on his neck and asked Coleman about the woman who'd collapsed. "Is she really okay?" "She's fine," Coleman said. "Medics kept her for observation, gave her fluids, checked her vitals. She'll be sore tomorrow, but no permanent damage." Michael nodded. "Good. Make sure she gets a refund for her ticket, and send her some merch. T-shirt, poster, whatever she wants." Coleman raised an eyebrow. "She's fine, boss. She's not asking for anything." "I know," Michael said. "Do it anyway." That woman, her name was Ashley, got a handwritten note 2 weeks later. It said, "Glad you're okay. Thanks for being tough. The show wouldn't have been the same without you, MJ." Enclosed were 2 tickets to the next tour, VIP seats, and a signed poster. Ashley framed a note. Years later, she'd tell her kids about the night she passed out at a concert, and MichaelJackson made sure she was all right before he kept singing. The bra incident became legend. Footage circulated on early internet forums, got shared on email chains, eventually landed on YouTube, where it racked up millions of views. Entertainment reporters called it the most endearing concert moment of the decade. Fans debated whether it was staged. It wasn't. Other performers tried to replicate the magic when similar things happened at their shows. They couldn't. Because what made the moment special wasn't the bra. It was everything that came after. The laugh, the kindness, the way Michael turned a joke into a teaching moment about taking care of each other. The way he stopped a sold-out show to make sure one person in a crowd of 80,000 was safe. That's the part that broke the internet before the internet could be broken. 1 month later, Michael gave an interview to a music magazine. The reporter asked about the Bradder incident, expecting a funny anecdote. Michael smiled. But his answer surprised everyone. "That night taught me something," he said. "People think performing is about being perfect, hitting every note, nailing every step. And yeah, that stuff matters. But the real performance, it's when something unexpected happens, and you figure out how to turn it into connection. That woman threw a bra, and we all laughed together. Another woman needed help, and we all made sure she got it. That's what a show should be, not just entertainment, community." The reporter published the quote, and it got picked up everywhere. Michael's publicists called it the best PR he never planned, but the people who were there that night didn't need a quote to understand. They'd felt it. The shift from spectacle to something real, the moment the king of pop stopped being an icon on a stage and became a person who cared. Jessica, the bra thrower, and Ashley, the woman who collapsed, met years later at a fan convention. They recognized each other from old footage. They hugged like old friends. They told their stories side by side on a panel, laughing, finishing each other's sentences. And when someone in the audience asked what they remembered most about that night, they gave the same answer. "He saw us." Not as faces in a crowd, not as ticket sales or metrics, as people. That outdoor arena hosted hundreds of concerts over the years. Bigger names, flashier production, better sound systems. But ask anyone who worked there in the 90s, which show they remember most, and they'll tell you about the night in the summer heat, when Michael Jackson caught a bra, made 80,000 people laugh, and then stopped everything to make sure someone was safe. The crew still talks about it. Security still tells the story to new hires as an example of how to handle chaos. The medics who worked that night kept the incident report as a souvenir, not because of the bra, but because of the note Michael sent thanking them for their fast response. Most artists don't even know we exist. One medic said years later, "Michael wrote us a thank you card. By hand." Coleman, the security chief, retired a decade later. At his going-away party, someone asked him about his favorite Michael Jackson moment. He didn't hesitate. "The bra," he said. Not because it was funny. Because of what he did after. He could have kept going. Could have treated it like a medical issue that wasn't his problem. But he stopped. He made it everyone's problem. He turned 80,000 strangers into a community that looked out for each other. That's leadership. That's what a real performer does. The footage still circulates. People still watch it. Still laugh at Michael's reaction. Still share it with friends. But if you watch closely, really closely, you can see the exact moment the laugh fades from Michael's face and the concern takes over. You can see him scanning the crowd. You can see the shift from entertainer to human being who gives a damn. That's the moment that mattered. That's the moment that proved Michael Jackson wasn't just great because he could dance and sing. He was great because when it counted, when someone needed help, he stopped the show and made sure they got it. And that's a performance nobody could rehearse.